Okay, now I have another interview partner. His name is Tom. He comes from North America, and in the last days it was very nice to speak with him about his ideas, his NGO, and he's an Indian man, and he wants to speak about his NGO, about why he do this, what he do, and he wants to greet you persons in Hamburg if there are something that you must hear from him. Tom, it's your stage.
Well, thank you for this invitation. It's very important that the people of your land, of your territories, has a hear from the voices of the indigenous peoples from where I live. It's from an area that we call the Great Lakes. We're on the edge of the forest. Before the settlers came, they went into the prairie land. So we're at the edge of the woodlands going into the prairie lands of our territories. It's very good to be invited to speak because we have a message as indigenous peoples to tell the world leaders who are here, as well as a message to the private sector, the corporations and the businesses, but also a message to the non-governmental organizations, the NGOs. There's many of them. And sometimes it concerns us, the position of our NGOs. They're so large, so big, that sometimes it's a revolving door as their staff and their leadership goes from an NGO. Next year they're working for a corporation. Next year they're working for the government. So it's a revolving doorway. But we are grassroots. We are community where I come from. We see what's really happening on the ground, just like people from your area probably. We see that the climate is unpredictable. We see that when we should have snow this high, in Minnesota, where I live, we only have that much snow. So we worry about this in the spring, at the moisture in the lakes. Sometimes they don't reach the level that they should have. That affects the fishing. That affects all of life. So we have elders that we work with. I'm an elder, I'm a young elder now. But I've always worked with the older elders of our peoples. And Oren Lyons is one of those from another tribe of the Mohawks, Onondagas, the Six Nations, the Iroquois Confederacy. He told me that they had a prophecy that there'll be a time when the trees start dying from the top down, and that we have to stand up together with one voice to the world. And that time is now because that's climate change. That was the mandate for me to start working on the climate issues in 1998. And I've been coming to these meetings since then. And it's been difficult because our position as indigenous people is to speak the truth, the reality. So the reality is that the combustion, the burning of the fossil fuels, is that the combustion, the exhaust of the burning of the fossil fuel goes into the atmosphere. The carbon dioxide. There's too much in the atmosphere. It's like a bathtub. It's overflowing now. And there are some people that say, well, it'll be okay. We just need to plant more trees that can breathe in the carbon that will offset all that carbon in the atmosphere. But I met a scientist in 2002 in Johannesburg, South Africa. And he told me that in his study that it would take 4 planets full of trees to even begin to offset the amount of greenhouse gases that is still coming. Still coming. And I said, that's not good. Then why is it that the corporations, why is it that the large NGOs is telling our people all we have to do is plant trees? But one of the big things that we talk truth to is the privatization of air, the privatization of Mother Earth, the privatization of nature.
Water.
Even in Europe, there's a campaign about this financialization of nature network of people that are stopping the privatization of biodiversity, of conservation. So, I don't know if your listeners have heard about emissions trading, carbon trading, cap and trade, putting a tax on carbon. Before you can trade carbon in a trading mechanism, you have to determine whose property right that is. So it's a property right issue. In a white or European-centric mentality, people of Europe went to my country. They come from the same perspective. They don't understand that the question of how can you own air, how can you sell air? Who taught them? Maybe they had the same knowledge we did 1,000 years ago, maybe 2,000 years ago. What removed the people from Europe away from nature? Why did they kill the woman of the lake? That idea of understanding the spirit of the earth, the spirit of the trees. Okay? So that's what I speak about, with the authority was given to me by our spiritual leaders. Because in these hallways of these meetings, they have a false solution that the market system is going to solve the climate crisis. But also, they have a false solution around technology, geoengineering, proposals that they can just put particles into the atmosphere.
It's crazy.
To reflect.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The gas coming, the light coming in. Yeah. These things, it scares me. It scares me because our position is that they have to start turning the valve of fossil fuels. Mm-hmm. They got to keep fossil fuels in Mother Earth. And we have to make a transition. All of us have to start making a transition away from our addiction and dependency on energy. Yeah?
Yes.
Like America. Yeah. America is addicted to energy. So if we push solar panels, if we push wind turbines, if they don't understand we have to balance it, they're going to make millions of wind turbines, millions of solar panels, because we have an addiction to energy, to try to keep up to the demand. That's not sustainable. We have to reevaluate. That's what I tell people of the world. Reevaluate your relationship to the sacredness of Mother Earth. Okay? And even here, if we talk about moving away from fossil fuels, and there's some governments here and companies here that say, well, we have a solution, and it's clean energy. It's not anything to do with fossil fuels. And I say, what is it? They say it's nuclear. That's clean. They say it's clean. And they're telling me that. And I said, no. I said, on my mom's side, there are the Navajo, are the Dene people of New Mexico. And have died, many have died from uranium mining decades ago.
Thousands of uranium mining, I heard yesterday.
Pueblo, all these different.
In the USA.
Yeah, uranium mining. If it goes into the reactors, the nuclear reactors, power reactors, they lied to our people on the Dakota side of my people, up in Minnesota. In 1970, we have a small village community called Prairie Island, and it's along the Mississippi River. And the state of Minnesota is worried about where they're going to get their energy. So I guess they were pushing nuclear energy. But our people didn't know what that was. So when they came to the community, they said, we're building a steam plant to create steam. And they have pictures of these big concrete tubes that go into the air, and you can see the steam coming out of it.
Unbelievable.
And that's what they said. It's just a steam plant. Yeah. And then our younger people, they read, and then some of the activists already, there was activists against nuclear power. They hooked up with our people to give information. Our people were very upset. They lied. We didn't know anything about the nuclear reactors, about that whole radiation process, and the spent fuel rods. These rods, spent fuel rods, would heat up from the radiation activity. And the big question is, what do you do with the spent fuel rods? Where do they store it? It's radioactive. It's forever hot for a long time, creating that steam.
10,000, 100,000 years.
And what right do they have to build that with the danger and the risk of health effects, not only for my generation, but our generation to come? So if we sign on a contract, or the government, they are jeopardizing the rights of future generations. That's what we believe. And that's what we spoke about. Now there are people here talking about the rights of future generations. It's that serious. I have another friend, Corbin Harney, from Nevada, from the most bombed territories from the nuclear war, Cold War. They experimented in America, in Western Shoshone territories. He's part of our network, Indigenous Environmental Network. Unfortunately, he passed on. He used to speak about the nuclear colonialism. Yeah. Before him was Bill Rossi, wearing a cowboy hat and plays a guitar. He used to come around Europe to speak about this. He passed away, and then Corbin Harney came, to speak about this. Our board of directors is Manny Pino from the Pueblo, the people there at Acoma. And they organize against uranium, against nuclear reactors, because it's killing their people. We have a long history of this fight to protect Mother Earth. So that's why we're here. We have to be here. If we aren't here, the system, the matrix, the governments, they exist. They will bring their own indigenous people. They will bring their own indigenous peoples to form partnership that support this. And then it's all about money at the expense of our people. We call them sellouts, our own people. Just like I'm sure in your homeland, your people look the same, but you have some people that support, you know, nuclear power. They don't believe climate change, you know? Mm-hmm. So we have some too. That's why I'm here, because if I'm not at the dinner table, I'm the menu. Yeah.
Yeah. Yesterday we spoke, or other Indian people spoke about Mother Nature and Grandmother Nature. I was so impressed because at home with my 5-year-old son, and when he goes in bed, yes, I'm not a religious man, but I speak with him what he wants from Mother Nature. I'm not an Indian, but the idea from your Indian community is it's not okay that give the pollution to the mother, to kill the mother. And please, 1 minute about the thinking of Mother Nature. This is it's a little bit, it's like your religion.
Yeah.
I think in Hamburg the people would like this.
Well, I believe the people in Hamburg, I believe the people a long time ago were just like me. They were tribal people. They go out and they have the seeds to grow their food. They go hunt with the life. We have a reciprocal relationship with nature. All people, at one time, we depended on the earth to live. We depended on clean water and clean air. But something happened. I don't know, maybe it was kingdoms, corporate versions long time ago of kingdoms. Okay, I don't know what it was. A male domination, in fact, that killed off the woman of the lake. That special female creative spirit is part of creation, a creative principle. Yeah. So that's why I tell people.
Tom, woman of the lake.
Woman of the lake.
Woman of the lake.
Yes, the spirit of the lake.
The spirit of the lake is a woman of the lake.
Was killed.
Yeah, okay.
And then the world become a domination by the man.
Yeah.
Where is the balance? The moon is the female, the sun is the male. Where I come from, we are making strong again the role of the woman as the keeper of the waters. And the men are the keepers of the fire. The earth is alive. She is alive. She has a spirit. But these governments, they don't recognize that. Okay?
Tom, thank you, thank you. If some people want to see your NGO in the internet, we will write it in the
yes.
Clip.
They can go to Facebook, Indigenous Rising Media.
Indigenous Rising Media.
And then Facebook, Indigenous Environmental Network.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I'm impressed and I wish you a good time here. Thank you.
Thank you.